One of the things I love about my job is that I basically get to help people turn the tables on their bad employers. And I see a lot of the hardball tactics that employers use, and I can help people use those tactics instead. Things that they just wouldn't know about because, why would you know about it? You're not doing this every day, but some employers are doing this regularly and they know the tricks, and I want to teach you the tricks. So here are the 3 top hardball tactics that employers typically use that you can use as well. Let's start with what I think is the scariest hardball tactic employers use. That's the cost warning letter. So this basically goes like you make your tribunal claim and then suddenly they hit you with this letter that says, hey, it's going to cost us tens of thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands of pounds to pay for all of this to go to tribunal. And if you lose, we're going to come after you. We're going to ask the tribunal to make you pay those legal costs because you never had a reasonable chance of winning in the first place. And it's true that they could apply to the tribunal and ask the tribunal to make you pay those costs, but they would have to prove that you didn't think you had any reasonable chance of winning and that you were just harassing them and not complying with orders and all that kind of stuff. It's really rare, but you can do the same thing. You can go back to your employer and say, hey, you have a terrible case. You haven't even provided any evidence here. Anything else that you think means that they don't have a reasonable prospect of success. And you can say, I'm warning you that I'm going to come after you for my costs. And you might be thinking, well, I don't have any costs. Well, your time can be billed at £41 an hour for the purposes of costs at tribunal. So this is a tactic that you can turn around on them, and I have seen that done, and it works really well. Another tactic that you'll see employers doing is after you've made your tribunal claim, they might write to the tribunal and they might say, actually, we would just like to strike out this whole thing. Could you please, tribunal, just strike out the whole case because we don't think it was in time or we don't think it has a reasonable prospect of success. And again, that is a scary hardball tactic that often makes people doubt themselves. And there's no reason, if you think that they have no reasonable prospect of winning, or say they're not actually complying with orders, or they're constantly late, or something like that, then you can make an application for strikeout to the tribunal and say, hey, they clearly aren't engaged here, they clearly aren't doing anything to try and win this case, can you just go ahead and decide in my favor? So that's another tactic you can borrow. Finally, I love this one. So employers like to scare you by asking the tribunal to kind of make you do things. Turn that around on them. Lots of people find that employers won't give them the evidence that they're supposed to give them during the disclosure process, even though you know it's there. It's just bad for them, and so they won't turn it over. You can use a request for specific disclosure to ask the tribunal to force them to give that evidence. That can work so well for getting them to the negotiating table.